Hello everyone, welcome back to Update channel. In today's video, we will talk about community cloud and the multi-cloud. These are the two other cloud computing deployment models, along with the public, private, and hybrid cloud computing deployment models, which we have discussed in the last video. So let's start with the community cloud. So in the public cloud or in the private cloud, right? Only one organization can access the resources that are deployed in the cloud or that are created in the cloud, right? So suppose if there is a requirement where the multiple organizations are there and they are all sharing the similar requirements, or they are all working on the same project or proof of concept or same topic, okay, same concept or same implementation or a same project. When those organizations are working on a same project, or when there is a common security policies to follow between the organizations, common regulatory guidelines to follow between the organizations, or the information sharing is mandatory between the organization, then they all form a community and they all combinedly create a cloud, create the resources in the cloud and access the resources from the cloud combinedly. Okay, so then those organizations are forming a community and cloud services access is given to that community. So if you see here, this is the community of organization 1 and 2. They are all creating combinedly creating these services or the resources like VMs, storage services, database services, network services, analytics, whatever it is. Okay, whatever the service they are going to create, that will be accessible to all the organizations that are part of that community. When the community cloud is required, when the organizations are sharing the common security policies or the common regulatory guidelines, or the information sharing is necessary between the organizations, then they form a community cloud. So whatever the resources that are there in the community cloud, they will be accessible to the community. That's what it is. Group of organizations has common requirements, working on same project, resources or services or information sharing is necessary. So all those scenarios, community cloud will be applicable. Those organizations come together and form the community cloud. So in this community cloud architecture, right? In the earlier architectures, we have seen that either it will be managed by the public cloud, will be managed by the cloud service provider like AWS. Private cloud will be managed by the enterprise, right, or the customer or the organization. But the community cloud will be managed by all the organizations that are part of that community, right? Managed by the organizations or the cloud service provider or any other third party vendor. They can outsource this cloud to any other third party vendor. They can manage the third party vendor manage the community cloud on behalf of the organizations. Okay, so that's all about the community cloud. Let's talk about advantages and disadvantages of the community cloud. So cost effective, because it is being I mean the resources which are deployed, they will be billed as per the usage, right? So the billing will be done uh, for all the organizations that are part of the community. So earlier in the public and private cloud, it was shared or it was billed only for one organization. Now it was shared among the multiple organizations, right? So the billing will be shared. So organization that has to spend, each individual organization that has to spend, right, spend some amount on usage of the cloud resources will be less compared to the private cloud. And also it is more secure than public cloud but less secure than private cloud, because in public cloud there is no customizations allowed, but here as more and more organizations are there, uh, the security that is involved with the community cloud is more than the public cloud. Okay, so that's all about community cloud advantages. Let's talk about disadvantages. See, as we are sharing the infrastructure in the community cloud, right, the responsibilities will also be shared among the organizations. So if the responsibilities are shared among the different organizations, and if they are not, if there is any collaboration issues, right, then it will be difficult to manage. And so the organizations which are part of the community cloud should ensure that there are no collaboration or communication issues or the work delegation issues or the management related service related management issues should not be there. Okay. Also, as there are multiple parties involved in the community cloud, suppose if one organization compromises the security or leaks the data or the customer data to outside world, then it will be a violation of the security, right? So in terms of the security wise, it will be less secure if any of the organization compromises on security or leaks the data. Okay. So that's all about the community cloud. Community cloud, in summary, is all about organizations coming together and forming a community based on these similar requirements and use those resources in the cloud. Okay. Now let's talk about multi-cloud. Okay. So in case of multi-cloud, we have seen that in the earlier all examples, right? The public cloud will always be having the public cloud resources, private cloud is having always the private cloud, right? But hybrid, we have seen that it is a combination of both public and private, so that the personal information of customers will be stored in the PII, so that you will be having more secure and all, right? Public cloud will be having a more cloud features like scalable and reliable, elastic, high available features, all those are coming. But if at all we are coming to the multi-cloud, right? So usage of cloud services from multiple cloud service providers. Okay, we have seen that in the hybrid cloud, it is a combination of public and private. Okay, but when while coming to multi-cloud, right? It's not only a combination of public and private, but you can also have those deployment models coming from different service providers. Okay, it can be a combination of different cloud deployment types or same cloud deployment type from multiple cloud service providers like this. So your application can be deployed to any other cloud deployment models like public cloud. It will be have it can have another public cloud from another vendor. It can have, okay, private cloud also you can use from another vendor, like three different cloud service providers. You can get the three different cloud deployment models. So you can deploy all the personal identifiable information related application here in the private cloud. All the cloud related features here you can deploy here. Okay, in one of the cloud service provider public cloud. In another cloud service provider public cloud, you can deploy another set of applications or different set of applications. So uh, multi-cloud is all about getting deploying your application into multiple deployment models, and also provided by the multiple service providers. Okay, so hybrid cloud also we have seen that it is a combination of public and private clouds, right? Then what is the difference between multi-cloud and private hybrid cloud? If you see here in the multi-cloud, we are seeing public cloud deployment, private cloud deployment. But in the hybrid cloud, we are seeing public and private. Okay, hybrid cloud will a cloud will be called as an hybrid only if it is a combination of public and private. So, but in case of multi-cloud, there is no necessity of having the private cloud. Okay, you can have the public cloud as well. Okay, you can have all three public clouds from three different public service cloud service providers. Then it is called as multi-cloud. Private having a private cloud in the as part of the multi-cloud is not necessary, but having the private cloud as part of the hybrid cloud is necessary, because that's what it means, right? We need to have the features or the advantages of coming from both private and public. So that is the difference between multi-cloud and hybrid cloud. Let's talk about advantages and disadvantages of multi-cloud. Okay, see here, we are talking about the advantages, right? Okay, we are getting the best features from different cloud vendors. So suppose if you are talking about the PaaS services, PaaS services of AWS are having some kind of advantages, in the Azure PaaS services or the infrastructure services. So you can have the best services, best features, high performant services, more scalable services from one service provider. And suppose if you want to deploy an application, you can go with, if you are feeling AWS PaaS service is more high available or the more scalable service, then you can use the AWS Elastic Beam. Okay. Suppose if you feel that Azure SQL instance is more powerful or high performant than AWS, then you can use the Azure SQL instance from the Azure, Microsoft Azure. So in this way, no vendor lock-in. We don't have to stick to only one vendor to get the features. We don't have to rely on only one vendor here. We should not be limited ourselves to use the features only provided by only one vendor. We can extend our application to use multiple other vendors as well. Also, the reduced downtime, as we are using multiple cloud providers. So even if the application that is running on one cloud is impacted due to the outage on that particular cloud, right, the other application that is running on the different cloud provider will still be running. That way the downtime of your whole application will be drastically reduced. uh, I mean, as we are relying on multiple vendors, right? So no two vendors will be, most of the times, no two vendors will be having the downtime at the same time. That's why downtime of your application is very less when we are going with multi-cloud architecture. Okay, let's go to the disadvantages section. Okay, here complexity in management, increased latency, performance issues. See, as we are dealing with multiple clouds, right? As we are getting the more features like no vendor locking, reduced downtime. These are the advantages. But along with these advantages, it is also leading us to complexity in management, because we have to have the skills to know the features and to manage the resources on both on multiple different clouds, not only one specific cloud. So we have to have the feature skills to manage the resources on all those uh, cloud platforms. Okay. Also, the increased latency. Suppose if one service that is running on AWS wants to interact with the service that is running on Azure, then definitely there will be some latency to respond to users' request. So that kind of latency will be there when you are going with the multi-cloud. Some kind of response times will be increased, high response times. Also the performance, when there is an latency increase, the performance also will be degraded, right? So if the data centers are far from each other, service communication between the services running on those data centers may face high latency and the degraded performance issues. Okay, that's all about the multi-cloud. So with this, we are done with the different cloud deployment models, public, private, hybrid, community, and multi-clouds. That's all for today. Thank you for watching. Please give it a like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.